Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I'm going to talk about the month of October, the first week, the 1st through the 7th. And this is a week of new beginnings, but it's because of so much closure and endings, because this is the week that we have the full moon. And this full moon will bring closure on so many levels. So with that, I thought I might tell you a little bit about what this is. I'm going day by day. So each and every day where the moon is tells us so much about what we're all feeling and experiencing daily. So as I go through where the moon is, this is going to be relative to your time zone. I am speaking from Central Daylight Time. I'm in Dallas, Texas. And I'd love if you tell me where you're from down below. I love to check that out. It makes me feel connected to everyone around the world. So tell me where you're at in the messages down below. And here's another thing that's really important, to pay attention to where the moon is. The moon represents the masses of people. It's really how everyone combined feels. So this is the collective consciousness. So let me go ahead and start with October 1st. So October 1st, here we go. We are in the month of October. I can't believe it. October, yeah, is a beautiful month to me. We have so many celebrations because here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're really starting our fall season. But I know for you there in the Southern Hemisphere, it's the opposite. You're starting spring. So it's a time of change. It's a time of revolutionary change. So let me dig in here with October 1st. It is a Wednesday. And the moon sits in Capricorn. And with that, it is approaching Pluto. So there is a deep sentiment, deep feelings going on this day. And another thing that's really important is where Mercury is most of the time. Mercury is in an aspect today with Jupiter, exactly in a square. And Mercury deals with how we feel and communicate mainly. It's really not how we feel as much as how much we think about things and how we communicate. And communications have been falling off the charts. People cannot agree. And that's basically something you're going to see with this month the most. So people can't agree. People are so righteous. People are so confused, really, what they feel and what they think with all the world events going on. Now, people are talking. Mercury is in Virgo. Jupiter is in Gemini. There's so much about our free speech, our conversations. Everything is going on about how we speak to one another. Now, the moon approaching Pluto means the feelings intense. People are extremely emotional in feeling it. And with this, actually, Venus and Ketu are coming together. And with Venus and Ketu coming together, there's something very powerful right now about women and women's rights, because Venus represents the female influence. And what's actually going on is there's a transformational change for women around the world, how they are respected, how they are looked up to, and most of all, there can be some happenings that really change the outlook on the role that women play in our society. And I think there's going to be a big shift. And possibly losses around women or women leaders coming up here this entire month. I'll give you the exact days that I feel like this is the most turbulent. But this whole month, things are moving in this direction. Now, Saturn being in the 3rd house from the moon, things are blocked with communications. And this moon sits in the nakshatra called Uttara Ashada. Remember, the nakshatras get their meanings from the stars. Uttara Ashada is all about truth and fact-finding. It's about justice as well. And that's what's in the news. What's just, what's right, what's true, who's right. And it depends on who you listen to as to who's right. So who's really right now? Well, as I always say, listen to your gut. And that goes beyond what you're hearing in the media. That must go on beyond that, because the media is so controlling, especially right now. There's two different sides, and they're both trying to say something that's opposing. The duality's never been stronger in the world at this time. So let me move up to the next day. We're looking at Thursday. This is October 2nd. And the moon is still in Capricorn most all of the day, but it's moved into the nakshatra called Shravana, which means the listener. The symbol for Shravana is the ear. And it means listen. Don't be trying to force your opinion or your take on to other people. Listen. Hear what you can hear others say. And you know, whether you think they're wrong or right, let them talk. Now is the time for listening, not controlling conversations. And we still have Saturn in the 3rd house, counting from the natal moon. And this pretty much tells me that people's communications are still in a blocked area where people can't hear the other person. And the way we speak and communicate with one another is messed up. Mercury today is at the very last degree of Virgo. So later on today, it does move into Libra. But while it's here, this is a time to really open up the lines of communications more than ever. And this is so meaningful because Mercury actually sits on the fixed star Spica today. Spica is the most auspicious fixed star in the heavens, and it deals with overnight sensations and literary genius. So open and listen and see what you can learn today. I guarantee you this is a day of great learning. But still, all in all, we have this movement towards not understanding women and women's rights, and this goes for around the world. The women have something important to say, but they're not necessarily being heard. So this is important to pay attention to. And really, this is still a time and a day of justice, and people are talking about what is just, what is karmically ethical about everything that's going on. And specifically, the topic of conversation is free speech. Now I'm looking at October 3rd. October 3rd is a Friday. And what I'm looking at is that the moon around 12 noon, Central Daylight Time, Central Time Zone, just moved into Aquarius. So now we have the moon in Aquarius, a whole different energy. And what that means is there are talks, there are movements towards healing of humanity. This has to come. Everything that's been surfacing lately, the truth, the non-truth, the disruption, the illusions, everything to do with how people think is really in a state of confusion and conflict, right? There are issues. But the moon today, being in Aquarius, is opening up a need to heal humanity. But all in all, the moon is in the nakshatra called Dhanishta. And Dhanishta's symbol is actually a musical instrument that's hollowed out. One is a drum and the other is a flute. And this deals with frequencies, vibrations, sound, and how it affects us. And Anishta is a financial nakshatra. It deals with money and finances. And you will find that there is so much going on in the financial markets. And I think there's like expansion gains. The moon is coming together with Rahu while it's in Aquarius. And on top of that, this particular moon being in an air sign, coming to Rahu, people are starting to have stronger opinions. But there's something about this nakshatra being a hollowed out instrument. It means that we all feel that something's hollow and missing, and possibly even in our lives. Pay attention to that. You're going to feel an emptiness. And Venus is almost exactly with K2 now. Recognize this has something to do with female energy in leadership. Yes, powerful females that will lead. And there can be some major losses around this. So pay attention, be aware. Now we have Mercury in Libra. And Mercury in Libra would mean bringing peace, working towards peace. And Mercury will be in Libra most this entire month. And that's what we're going to find. Working towards peace and betterment. But because Mars is there as well, you're going to find stalemates and conflict and arguments around world peace for quite some time, this entire month. But at least it's on the table and being discussed. Now I want to move to October 4th. And this is a Saturday. And the moon is right in the middle of Aquarius. We'll be in Aquarius the entire day. But the nakshatra that it's in is called Shatabhishak. That nakshatra is so powerful because it deals with healing, and it also deals with invention, opening up to new things and inventing things and the future. This is where people will start to talk more about the future and what's at hand, what's coming up. But this is an intense day this Saturday. I gotta say, it is crazy intense. Now, if you are in Australia or around the world, it's probably Sunday for you. But I'm looking at 12 noon Central Time, and the moon sits right smack dab in the middle of Aquarius. And this is important because there's going to be great movements towards trying to find a solution to all of the havoc that's been going on. But this is the day that Venus is exactly conjunct K2. And this is a serious day around leadership for women. There can be some losses. Maybe a woman leader, there's a loss around a woman leader. So we must be careful and we must be protective of everything to do with any organization that is led by women and or controlled by women leaders. So this is interesting, but it is in Leo. Leo is the sign of leaders. That's why I'm getting a female leader. Things are changing, transforming. The way that we look at female leadership will change as well during this time. Totally. Now, the moon being where it is, Saturn sits in the second house from the moon. So there are some downward cycles in the markets or in the economy right now, just for the next day or so. But things are heating up. Things are intense for the masses, the crowds. The moon is with Rahu. And the moon is feminine and Venus is feminine. So there is some havoc today. I keep getting something about female leaders. I can't get over this, pointed position. So Jupiter does sit in the 5th house from the moon. And for those that are highly creative, it is a great day to express yourself creatively, particularly around the energy of writing and speaking. This is a day for that. Be conservative, be clear, be honest, and express yourself. Now I'm looking at Sunday, October 5th. And on this day, the moon is in Aquarius. Until the evening, it will shift into Pisces, but it's in Aquarius for the most part of the day, Central Time Zone. So we are looking at the moon. It just crossed over Rahu early morning. And Moon Rahu is where the masses of people are overly emotional and intense, irrational, I will say as well. And as the moon and Rahu both sit together in the nakshatra Purva Bhadrapada, that nakshatra is a pretty confused nakshatra. It means someone with two faces. But it also means someone that can see the future, futuristic visionaries. Listen, pay attention. This is a very meaningful time historically. But don't look back. Don't be talking too much about the past. Look forward. That's what this nakshatra means. Because it's a two-faced man, one looking forward and one looking back. And this is about let's look forward, not back. So talking about this, I'm still seeing where Jupiter's in the 5th from the moon. So this is a great day for creativity and to explore spirituality. And another thing is, this is a good day, particularly in relationships, to try to better communicate and understand your partner. It can open the doors to healing and love within your personal relationships today. That's what this day is very best for, because Venus sits opposed the moon. Venus is love and relationships, peace and harmony. And this is what this day can bring in your personal relationships. Now I'm looking at October 6th. This is a Monday, and the moon, of course, is in Pisces all day today. And it will be in the next nakshatra, which is Uttara Bhadrapada. Yesterday it was in Purva, today it's in Uttara Bhadrapada. And both of these days, the symbol is the funeral cot. Purva is the front legs of the funeral cot, and Uttara are the back legs of the funeral cot. This is a very difficult day in terms of losses in some respect for people around the world. And I'm pretty much getting, this is a day for endings that will lead to new beginnings. But the reason why I say it's endings, this is the full moon. This is the day of the full moon. And the moon is in Pisces, in the last sign of the zodiac. It's in the last, not quite the last nakshatra of the zodiac, but it is dealing with endings. As a matter of fact, the full moon will be in Revati, and that does occur on this day, which is October 6th. So it shifts from Uttara Bhadrapada, which represents deep thought, deep awareness, into Revati before the end of the day, because we have the full moon in Revati, the last nakshatra of the zodiac, representing finalizing things, ending things, coming to a closure. But within this day, we do have the moon aligning with Neptune, which means we can't see the truth yet. Things aren't clear. And the full moon does bring awareness and light to the darkness of the night sky. So we're becoming more aware of what? The illusions. We have been lied to for many, many, many years. And the truth is just starting to come out. And most people really and truly can't believe it. Me being one of them as well, because it's so unbelievable what this world's about. Yes, what it's all about. And Neptune, Saturn, their conjunction, which they're still pretty tight, deals with cults. And what is a cult? To me, a cult is nothing but brainwashing. And we have been brainwashed for many, many years. But now the truth's coming out, and people are pretty upset and not accepting of it. I understand, but things will never go back to the way they were. Now the can of worms has been open. All right, let's go to the last day of this week that I'm going to be talking about. It's October 7th. It is a Tuesday, and the moon is at noontime Central Time Zone. It's at 28 degrees of Pisces. So in a matter of about 5 hours, it will be in Aries. But it is at this time Gandanta. So the moon is 28, last few degrees of Pisces, which means closures being brought to things. But I will say this, yesterday and today, with Neptune being close to the moon is in the last part of Pisces. There could be some severe weather or drowning or things of that nature. Even if it's not literal drowning, it's figurative. People feel like they're drowning. Everything is so obscure and things are not right. Another thing that's going on this day is Mercury is exactly in a square to Pluto. And that tells me that people are trying to hold on to what they believe, what they think. But you can't anymore, because there's been this new awakening, this new awareness that is so unbelievable. But we've got to learn to let go of the past and how things were, because as uncomfortable as this feels, it's going to shed light on the truth and open a new world. Change is very hard for all of us, radical change that is. It's just uncomfortable. Yes, maybe it's exciting for some of us and fun, but it's uncomfortable. You know, we're out of our comfort zone, our routine. Now all of a sudden we got to look at the world differently. So Revati, the moon in Revati, ends things. And by 5 hours later, we will have the moon in Aries. There's no going back. This is a very big transitional period and day. So this closes the last day of October. And with that, I'm going to tell you, if you're not signed up for my newsletter, you're missing out on all of these predictions written and sent to your email free. Don't you want to have the written format? Go to galacticcenter.org and receive my free newsletter. While you're there, if you're not signed up for my Patreon, you're missing out. Seriously, this is an amazing group of people that have the same purpose. Whether they agree politically is not the issue. We all believe that spiritual growth is the most important thing in our lives. And that's why we come together every week and talk it out, to talk about our spiritual advancement and growth and what the future predicts by the stars and symbols. We get it all there. And last but not least, if you want to know how this applies to your personal chart, get the planner. The planner does all this for your individual chart. You will know personally how all these transits affect you, not just globally. It's so important to be prepared and have the guidance of the stars. That's what the Galactic Planner will do for you. So go to galacticplanner.com, and remember, if you want to learn from me and become my astrology student, go to my university. You can join anytime. Go to universityofvedicastrology.com. Thank you.